fights. Now let's go to the Skype machine. Welcome in our next guest, our final guest of the day. There he is, the man himself, Cung Le. Cung, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Thank you so much for stopping by. You know, I'll talk about the film first because we were talking about it earlier. The Man with the Iron Fist. You're in a film with RZA, with Dave Bautista, Lucy Liu. This thing looks pretty amazing. I'm not a big movie buff myself, but my guys over here were telling me about it. This thing looks amazing. Are you excited about it?
I'm very excited. I'm actually before I leave to China on Wednesday we got a big press junket. Then on Thursday we got a special screening of The Man with the Iron Fist. So I'm very excited.
Now, what is up with your hairstyle in that film? What is going on there?
You don't like the long hair?
Well, I didn't say I didn't say I didn't like it or liked it. It's just an interesting style. It's an interesting look for you, Cung.
Well, that's what RZA, wanted me to, basically have long hair and, be in this crazy armor. So, at first I was really uncomfortable because I never had long hair before, but it ended up, being kind of fun after a while when, everyone makes fun of you. And, I actually had a great time on the set. So it was a good time.
Where did you film the movie?
We filmed it 1 hour outside of Shanghai. It's called this city called Songzheng, which has a major, like a big studio where where they filmed it is where the same place I filmed it, where I filmed Bodyguards and Assassin with Donnie Yen.
Now, RZA, obviously a legendary figure from the world of hip-hop, Wu-Tang Clan. What's he like to work with him?
Actually, I was totally surprised. RZA knew his, he was actually an awesome director. Quentin Tarantino came on set for a week, and, I found out more about that. RZA's been mentored by Quentin Tarantino, and he actually did amazing, brought the best out of everyone on set.
How are you juggling? You say you have this big premiere coming up, the press junket. How are you juggling that with training for this very big fight against Rich Franklin over in Macau?
Actually, I haven't taken any major press. The only thing I did is the UFC press tour in China for 10 days. That actually took a lot out of me and and my trainer, because it was just like one city to another. And other than that, I didn't take any interviews till the week before I leave. We've been training really hard, so I'm going to taper off this week and then get over there, get used to the time, have another medium week and then a light week, and get ready to do battle with Rich Franklin.
Now, your press tour was 10 days long. Where did you go and what were you doing?
We UFC had us flying to Hong Kong, then we went to Macau, then back to Hong Kong, then we went to Guangzhou, which is a 2-hour train ride. Then we went back to Hong Kong to do another meet and greet with celebrities, and then I went to Vietnam. Then from Vietnam I went to Beijing.
Wow!
And then from Beijing I went back to back home to start back on my training regimen.
Now, were you even able to train during this time away over in Asia?
We squeezed in 4 workouts, but one of the workouts I had 3 workouts in one day. Just we had to squeeze it in, but other than that, the workouts were real short and real quick.
And what was it like over there? What kind of interest and knowledge about MMA and you and the UFC do they have? Were you able to sort of gauge as to how popular the sport is over there?
I think the sport, is growing pretty fast. A lot of interest, a lot of media. Actually, there was a lot of media, but I think the fans and the people still need to be more educated about how everything works, from the ground and pound to the submissions and stuff like that. But definitely, I think it's going to grow quick, and there's so many people over there, and everyone is into martial arts. So I think UFC over there is going to take off.
Have you seen the poster for this event?
Poster, yeah, totally. I mean, I've seen 3 different versions of the poster, and I'm pretty pumped up for it. Every time I look at it, I'm pumped up.
There's a Bruce Lee picture on there. Do you like that the UFC did that?
I think UFC is great with advertising and using Bruce Lee, because he basically put martial arts on the map, and that's where he's from, and I think using him is a pretty genius idea.
Now, I remember when obviously you fought in July, you injured your foot, and even at the press conference, Dana White was saying they want you to fight on that card in November. And from my discussions with you, some people may not have seen it. It seems like you almost, I don't know how you did it, miraculously, magically, you fast-tracked your recovery by doing some pretty unique stuff. How were you able to get back to 100% after a pretty serious injury?
Well, I didn't know how I was gonna, how fast I was gonna recover, but I just did everything I could, from ultrasound to stim to deep massages to bloodletting, which is they poke a whole bunch of holes in your where the injured area, and they draw it out with like cupping, and I did that for like 3 weeks straight, and so slowly but surely the foot was getting better. I would say it's 80% now. I've kicked a couple of my training partners in the head, so it still hurt a little bit, but I'm hoping by the time the fight comes along, it'll be 100%.
So you're only 80% now, and you're still training. There is a chance though that you're not 100% come fight time, right?
You know what? Whether I'm 80 or 100, I'm going to fight. I'm making sure that I don't get injured. It's been crazy. From everything from the last fight to this fight, it's just been so quick. I felt like I didn't have any time to take a break. It was just recovery, being in rehab twice a day, doing Westerns type of medicine, and then Eastern like later on, and then trying to keep up with some kind of workout just for the upper body. It was just like I felt like I had no break. But after this, I need like a like a couple weeks, somewhere, for a vacation.
Is it safe to say if this card wasn't in Macau November 10th, let's say it was in January, you probably wouldn't be coming back this soon?
Definitely, and if it wasn't in Macau, China, and even though I was a main event somewhere else, I think I would give myself the right amount of time so my foot could really heal. And then just little injuries from last camp also, but I fast tracked everything back and just trained hard, and and just I have everything to gain, and really some bumps and bruises, and hopefully no serious injuries to lose. So I'm excited. I'm ready to go, and it's go big or go home.
Are you at all concerned that you may not be at your best?
Most time when you go into a fight, you're not 100% all the time. So you just got to go in there and just have faith in your abilities, and just go for it.
And just curious, because you say that obviously you'd fight on this card if it was later. It'd be probably a better situation for you. Why is it so important for you to fight on the first ever UFC card in China? Why does that mean so much to you?
Well, one, I feel like martial arts, basically, started from China, and my roots are the Chinese martial arts. And of course, UFC needed me to, to fight, and definitely Dana kind of before I was not even cleared yet. He was like, "Kung's gonna fight," and everything, the news was out there, so a little bit of pressure, but pressure is good. It gets you to shift that gear, and just start hauling ass.
It's also interesting because you were supposed to fight Rich Franklin at UFC 148. Then he got moved, and you fought Patrick Cote. He fought Vanderlei Silva. You've been thinking about this guy for a long time. Are you almost tired of thinking about Rich Franklin?
No, I'm actually excited to fight someone like Rich. Actually, Rich, has accomplished a lot in his MMA career, and a former title holder, and it's pretty exciting. I'm excited. This is like, this is why I do it. I could be just doing movies, but I love to compete. I love to train martial arts, and this is what I love to do. So here's my opportunity, and to do it in China, and it's awesome. Especially UFC put me and Rich as the main event. I've never been a main event for UFC, so here's my opportunity, and like I said, 80% or whatever percent I am, I'm coming to fight, and pedal to the metal.
Is it safe to say, Cung, that the UFC has sort of given your career a second life? Because I remember, you were considering doing movies full time. You had just done the movie with Channing Tatum. This is before the UFC bought Zuffa bought Strikeforce, and you were kind of in a weird spot with Strikeforce. And now, here you are fighting, 3 months after your last fight, not even 100%, things like that. Is it safe to say that if you weren't in the UFC, there's a chance that you may not be fighting anymore?
Definitely, if I wasn't in the UFC, I'd probably just focus on my my movie career.
How many more years do you want to fight for?
You know what? I'm taking it one fight at a time. A lot of people thought after I fought Vanderlei I was going to be done, but look at me now, 2 fights into my fight contract, and I'm getting ready to fight the biggest fight of my life against Rich Franklin. It doesn't get any better than this. It's like a dream come true for me.
Biggest fight of your life. You think this is bigger than the Frank Shamrock fight?
For me in my career right now, fighting someone like Rich as the main event. Frank Shamrock was the biggest fight of my career at the time, but right now this is the biggest fight of my career, and it depends on how the outcome, how it ends, and then I can compare it. But right now, in this point in my life, it's the biggest fight of my life.
And Rich Franklin actually said over the weekend that he considered it, but he will not be taking TRT going into this fight. What do you think about that?
You know what? Whoever, whatever he plans to do or wants to do, that's up to him. I'm clean. I'll test anytime. Pee in a cup, take my blood, whatever they want. Just don't take too much blood. I get a little, I feel a little fainty after, I see needles. So, whatever, it's, if he feels like he needs it, or whoever uses it, they use it for a reason. They get a doctor's prescription. Obviously, they got it done, and so be it. For me, I just train hard, and obviously, I'm being more smart about my training. I can't train and then recover as fast as I could. So I actually take more time off just to recover. So that's how I do it.
2 last questions, and we'll let you go. We appreciate the time, Cung. In your opinion, what's the key to defeating Rich Franklin?
The key to beating Rich Franklin is fighting smart and being patient, and let him make the mistakes.
Okay. And any other movie projects lined up for the future?
I actually, got a few projects in the works right now. I got one with a producer named Jeremy Bout, who produced Resident Evil, who cast me in Pandorum. That project is called Certain Justice. It's more like an action drama. And then another one with actually a comedian, Russell Peters, who's my friend, and it's more like a Rush Hour meets Stakeout.
All right.
That's all developed from ground up, brand new script. Script writer writing it, and they're putting it, my agency, Gersh Agency, and my manager Scott Carpenter, my agent Brett Nornsberg's putting the project together. Asked me who I want to work with, and Russell Peters is just a really cool guy and a really funny guy. So I definitely want to do like a 1-2 punch combo, kind of like Rush Hour. And then the other one will test my acting abilities and test just me going into a dark place and get into character and just kicking a lot of ass and just going with it.
So you'll be doing comedy?
I won't carry the comedy. Russell Peters will. I'll carry the action. He'll carry the comedy.
All right. Fair enough. First up, though, you got the man with the iron fist, and then you've got UFC on Fuel TV number 6, UFC Macau, you versus Rich Franklin. Can't wait for it. It's November 10th. Good luck to you in the last few days of training here, Cung, and we'll see you on November 10th over in Macau.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Same to you. There he is, Cung Le, joining us, the headlining act for UFC on Fuel TV number 6, and it is also being dubbed as UFC Macau. Big month for him with the film Man with the Iron Fist, as we showed the trailer earlier, and then that main event fight, his first ever UFC main event against another legend of the sport in Rich Franklin.